This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Is Andrew Bell, the CEO of Red Rock Resources, following an update piece of news from the company covering a few different aspects of the business. Thank you very much for joining us today. Andrew, how are things?
They're good. Continuing on all fronts.
Good. Well, let's get a few words from you about a bit more colour, perhaps, around some of the topics here in the RNS. So you've got Burkina Faso. Let's take that first of all. What's going on here? You've got you're actually starting work on some of the licenses.
Yes, of course. Well, in Zimbabwe, we're already exporting lithium, and we just set up a company in Hong Kong, which was a notified party on the bill of lading, and we're organizing the consignee in China. So the material goes into a warehouse there, and so we'll have a continuing stream of news about that. And I think, satisfactory. It's we're going to keep the level of exports relatively modest for 2 or 3 months to make sure that it's all working well, and then start to ramp up, no doubt.
Okay, that's good to hear. Okay, and so that's on the lithium in Zim.
Yes, that's lithium and Zim. Then, of course, in Burkina Faso, we have our gold licenses, one of which is really very promising. It's got a lot of activity on it. That's where we drilled and got some extremely good results, over 20 meters at some 3 grams a ton from near surface. And we were having a meeting about that the last few days, and we're getting geologists onto the ground there. So that's not waiting till after Christmas. That's happening right now, because we think there's, in the alluvial-colluvial material there, the scope to do some trial production, and also we'll get an auger drill out there, which needs to be ordered now, and therefore will be there. It'll take a month or so to get there, and then we will be also looking there to do the environmental work and to be in proper production. So trial mining first, and then proper production in a number of months. But we think the prospects are extremely good, and that can be, we can ramp up volumes there, and there couldn't be a better time to do it with the way the gold price is behaving.
Yes, indeed, of course. And then with the DRC, then what's the situation here? I know we've been waiting for this arbitration payment for quite a while now.
Yes, and the arbitration judgment is sitting there waiting to be released. There've been little people trying to delay that, not us, of course. I think we've cleared those obstacles out of the way. I would expect, as I said before, I'd expect something to come out very quickly, and so it should, because if a decision's been made in a proper, well-regulated country, and in Congo there are many things that are well-regulated, that should come up pretty quickly. And when it comes out, the payment will follow really automatically. Everyone thinks, well, you can get the judgment, but then it could take ages to get paid. Maybe you never get paid. No, that's not the case in this case. In this case, it's getting the judgment out, because once we get that, the money's sitting there waiting to be paid. The money will be with us really almost immediately. And I've made that point consistently for a long time. But the key thing there was to get through the process and get the arbitration completed. And of course, once we get this arbitration completed, it opens the door to a lot of follow-up action, which will be, I think, quite exciting.
Okay, excellent, good. And so, do you have an idea when it might conclude?
Well, I always say today, I always say tomorrow, and one day today is going to be correct.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of push, obviously, to try to get it finished by Christmas. Okay. And so we're pushing. But if we can get that money from Congo awarded, and we can be progressing the production of lithium in Zimbabwe, and if we can also be moving towards gold production in Burkina Faso, we'll make 3 enormous strides. And from a cash point of view, and from what we're able to do, the company will be in new territory. And of course, this license in Congo is one we should have retained. And if we had retained it, and it hadn't been stolen off us, it would be worth hundreds of millions. It would have been worth hundreds of millions several years ago. So what we're chasing up bit by bit is recompense for what happened to us, which now everyone recognizes that this did happen to us. And this $7.5 million that we expect is first sort of messenger award.
Okay, and just finishing off on Zim with the exportation of the lithium there that you mentioned, were you able to give some sort of figures as to how much is going out and what the kind of revenue generation is on that?
I don't know whether we've given figures. I think we may have mentioned 200 tons. The initial amount, and that's ready to go and is going out and will be put on the vessel. But if you were asking me what would be a sort of prudent level over that Christmas New Year period for a while, I'd say 200 tons a month would be, I regard as quite a satisfactory at this early stage, and then start to increase it, partly because we're funding the whole pipeline. I mean, so we have to incur quite a lot of costs, and it takes a number of weeks before we get paid. Once we've got the pipeline established, we can arrange earlier payment when, say, the cargo is still on the high seas, and we can cut some other costs. But to start with, it's like pulling yourself up by your own bootlaces. We have to put every penny in, and we have done. That's a substantial investment we've made, and so we want to see that money beginning to recirculate, and we want to see customers getting consignments and being satisfied with them, and then we can start to build that. But we're working with extremely experienced people who have decades of experience in both production and trading of both lithium and in gold, because we are absolutely determined to move away from the sort of typical AIM explorer model, where you are a creature of the winds and the waves and have very little control, like a sailboat rather than a motorboat, have very little control of the direction you're going in. And we want to get control of our environment, and we want to be producing. And it's been very, very, very tough this last year. Nobody would deny that. Very tough waiting for something that should have come a long time ago in Congo. But we've toughed it out. And when we get that, I think we'll look at us and say, we were the only people who could have done this. And working in countries like Burkina Faso, Congo, and Zimbabwe, and working there effectively, and keeping our noses clean. Well, who else is doing that? And yet, it's what British companies should be doing.
Excellent. Okay, great. Well, thank you, Andrew, for the update today.
Christmas to everybody.
So, happy Christmas.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Andrew. Bye.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stopboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.